What's up, y'all? It's Gumster, and today I got a problem. But before all that, if you enjoy the video, leave a like, and if you like what I'm doing here on this channel, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Now, with that boring stuff out the way, let's get down to the meat of this video. So, to start out, I was looking through the Xbox Game Pass, and I saw a familiar old face, Ark Survival Evolved, and I thought, let me talk about my experiences with this masterpiece of a game for anyone who wants to play it for the first time. So, I picked up Ark on December 17th-ish, 2015, when it released on Xbox Game Preview programs. So, I have some history with this game. Alright, so let me talk about Ark. When you first pick your server, you get two main choices, PvE or PvP. Now, these choices will determine how your experience is, but don't worry, I played both of them, so I can give you a detailed rundown on the modes, but that will wait in a bit. When you load Ark, you get to decide what your character is going to look like and the sex of them, which means 9 times out of 10 that character is either going to be the weirdest creature on the island or the ugliest one to the point where the dinosaurs should run away from you. Okay, so let's talk about the PvE first. So in the PvE, you don't have to worry about the most dangerous game on the island attacking you, but you get to enjoy one of the worst parts of the game, passive-aggressive players. In my experience, playing a PvE server for a month or two led to extreme frustrating events. Like most newbies, I spawned on the beach with my friend and we immediately claimed a small piece of land for our new base. Then we looked around and we saw it. Massive plots of unused land with giant walls surrounding them like a medieval fortress. We wondered why in the world would somebody need that amount of empty space, so we crawled under a gap of the walls and spikes. You know, there's a Donald Trump joke in there somewhere. I'm just not going to sell it. And we saw an entire field that the walls were being covered, filled with wooden pillars and thatch foundations. I couldn't figure out why. So we explored that massive plot of land and we eventually discovered a small metal house near the edge of a wall. But it was locked, so we shrugged and we left. A few days later of playing, we decided to build some metal equipment. So we tamed a few flying dinos and a giant bird for our transport, Nargi. And we decided the caves were a bit too dangerous and not enough metal in there. So we decided to go to the mountains and mine. So we got a good mining dinosaur and we made the long pilgrimage to the top of the mountain, and then we saw it. That place was completely filled with other people's mobile-based dinosaurs, brontosauruses, and there was no metal spawns left due to someone throwing wooden pillars and thatch foundations everywhere. So after looking around, we found another good mountaintop with some metal. Not most, just some spawning. A few weeks later, we started building up our base, and it was pretty good. And our neighbors weren't as hostile as, they could have been. At least that's what we thought at the time. Well, a month and a half of playing, we know certain sections of the map was completely barren of life, and there's nothing but wooden pillars and thatched foundations where trees and dinos used to be. Looks like someone claimed this entire spot biome, we say to each other. Whoop, not my problem. Well, around the second month, the wooden pillars were around the entire map, including most of the shallow parts of the ocean, which locked out all the dino spawns. We later found out this is how people and other tribes in PvE are used to lock out other servers. So they do this in order to make other tribes people's dinos starve, so they wouldn't have to actually attack them. And this, and the constant attacks from alpha dinosaurs and the occasional T-Rex, Spinosaurus, and Brontosaurus, which is being lured to attack our houses by other players who want to break in, we decided enough was enough. So we went to the deepest part of the ocean and tossed our stuff in there, then we quit to go to PvP. So after the PvE BS, we tried a few PvP servers with bad results. So after a while, we decided on our 9th server hop to just spawn in the middle of the swamp and try to tough it out, which turned out to be a great idea. My friend read an article on Steam talking about how creepy it was for people who made their characters as small as possible to jump out of bushes to scare people, because they're so hard to see. So we decided to make some of those characters. So while traveling to a decent base area, we saw another player. and after our first 9 servers, we were very paranoid of them. So we, and by we I mean my friend, jumped out of a bush, screaming boogity boogity boo, and started beating the guy in hell with a club, knock him unconscious. In our frantic frenzy, we stole 2 berries and a compass from the poor guy, while we were scrambling to get away from him because we didn't know if he had friends or tribe mates or whatever. So, funny enough, we built a base like 3 minutes walk from the guy where we attacked. We discovered the base was a great area. Well, besides the fact that it kept spawning giant snakes called Titan Boas, who had the near godlike ability to climb vertical walls, 3 or 4 walls high. We learned that lesson the hard way by having them climb up there and attack us. They did massive damage, and they also knock you unconscious, which is the worst thing ever. So, a few weeks later, while playing on that server, I logged on and found someone broke into our dino pens and killed all of them to steal something? I'm not sure. We didn't have any saddles on them or food. Or maybe he just wanted to grief a weaker tribe. But we got frustrated and quit that server, and around that time, a new free DLC was released, which was mostly a map island with tons of small little miniature islands around it. So I went to one of those servers and managed to build a boat, and we're role-playing as pirates. Sounds like Studio Lockhart's new game they released, huh? But before we even set off on the waters, we were attacked by a mega boat with gun turrets that immediately sniped my friend through our wood. That should have set the tone for that adventure. So we played on that server for a few days, and we're having a lot of fun until one day I logged on and our heavily armored boat was destroyed. So I got pissed and I said, don't bother logging on, let's just do something else. A year or so later, a friend got us to re-download the game. So we went to another PvP server and decided to keep our heads down low for a while and draw as little attention to ourselves as possible. Around the time of us replaying, the second DLC, which was the first one to contain new dinosaurs, was released as a paid DLC. It brought with it dragons. Well, wyverns, but close enough. So, after about a week of playing and keeping our heads down low and avoiding players like they were psycho clown axe murderers, we decided to build up our base and expand our meek little base. To that end, we decided to build metal walls to avoid 90% of the reefing. Every single metal spawn was metal pillared, and all the caves had metal gates in front of them, so you can't enter them, and they had gun turrets surrounding them. But thank God those gun turrets are empty. So while flying back to another bust from another cave, we encountered another player who picked my friend off his flying dinosaur and had the one tribe mate he was carrying fall to his death. He then dropped my friend to his death and then killed our mount. I was already back at the base when my friend said, "Get ready for epic fight," as they respawned. So I prepped everything, gave them our weapons, just in time to see a giant poison wyvern attack the base and completely destroy the stone outer walls and the plants guarding it. They then killed all our dinosaurs, then killed us. I was the last one to die, and I heard him shout, "This is what happens when you don't bow down to the rulers of the server." Then he flew off after destruction of our triple-layered house. I know because I respawned and snuck up on him and watched him slowly destroy the house. That fight was completely one-sided, and the entire time, once he showed up, I was having the Titanic theme song playing loudly so we all could hear it. So we found out that everyone else on the server was fairly passive and got along well until the, quote, rulers showed up with their armies of dragons and forced everybody into submission by destroying everybody and having them rebuild. So the next day, we found out that his mega tribe conquered an empty server, and with the help of duplication glitches, they were able to mass produce the best equipment, the best dinosaurs, and the best dragons, and tons of metal walls, which they used to destroy other servers. Then it all hit me. Every single PvP server we've been to, all 12 of them, there have been only a few tribe names who had all these giant mega bases. And I just thought that everybody reads the same names. So we knew that Mega Tribe was duping because we stumbled upon one of their duping servers, and my friends joined their tribe to go see what they're doing. And that server kept having constant lag, massive lag spikes in between the constant lag, and they'll have rollbacks every 4 or 5 minutes. There'll be a rollback, which prevents all progress you did for a minute or two. Resets all of it. And before the rollback hit, they'll take all their massive duped items, run to a beacon, and transfer it to another server. So they can spread their love like an extremely contagious STD. So before I wrap this up, and you make your final decision on this game, hear this. Ark has several paid DLCs which aren't solely limited to the DLC area. If someone tames a wyvern, a DLC monster, it could be brought back to the base game and the base island, which then leads to the new DLC maps being barren with nothing more than ghost towns, where lively civilizations used to be, and the carcasses of recently vacated bases once the prize DLC pet was attained, and the base island has become nothing more than a battleground for the Titans battling each other for superiority and dominance over that server. At least at the time that I quit, that was the situation. Speaking of DLC, Studio Wildcard set a very dangerous example for fledgling studios. While the game was still in its beta state, with massive bugs, poor optimization, terrible GN support, terrible graphics, and bad support, Studio Wildcard had gotten sued for stealing the idea from one of their previous employees. So they decided to release paid DLC for the game, and all the bonus content could be used in the base game. A new feature which allowed characters, equipment, and tamed animals to jump from server to server, PvE to PvE, PvP to PvP, as long as they're in the same type. So if you want to be caught up to date with all the other servers and megatribes, you need to spend an additional $60 for each of the 3 paid DLCs. Either join a megatribe or have a large group of dedicated friends to play the game with, and prepare to spend hours to days taming some of the higher tier dinosaurs. And that is constant attention for some of these dinosaurs too. To wrap this thing up, I'll ask 3 questions and answer them. Is this a good game? No. This game forces players to buy overpriced DLC to have a snowball's chance in hell to successfully defend themselves against those who then bought the DLC. Is the game fun? Yes, actually, it's tons of fun. Some of the most exciting moments I've had in gaming has involved my head being down in a patch of dirt, scuttling along like a crab to avoid the attention of hyper-aggressive, hyper-hostile megatribes. Those are some intense, heart-pounding moments, and I do not regret them. Do I recommend the game? Well, if you don't mind being severely outgunned, outmanned, and scuttling along like a mud crab in an Elder Scrolls game, or coughing up more money for DLC to have a fighting chance against those who have bought the DLC and are willing to go attack you. If that doesn't sound absolutely pleasing to you, then no, I don't think I'd recommend this experience to you. Well, since it's free on Xbox Game Pass, then I say you should dip your toes into the game. If it's a complete bust, however, at least you have some good stories from some wacky adventures you and your companions will have, or had. But I don't recommend buying it at full price though, if you don't have Game Pass. But that's just how I feel about Ark Survival Evolved. I hope you enjoyed the video. Once again, if you did, leave a like and comment, and if you like hearing my stupid voice, subscribe to the channel for more videos kinda like this. But that's it from me. Gumster out. Peace!